Long before Florida became a paradise, its waters belonged to men who lived and died by the sword. Florida and Georgia were once the crossroads of empires and the graveyard of ships that never made it home. Between the 1600s and 1800s, the Atlantic coast became a battlefield of flags, betrayal, and stolen gold. Every nation wanted control, but only the pirates truly ruled the waves. When England and Spain fought for dominance, the Crown granted certain sailors permission to attack enemy ships in exchange for a share of the profit. Men such as Sir Francis Drake carried royal orders to raid Spanish ports from the Caribbean to St. Augustine. In 1586, Drake burned the city to the ground. He claimed revenge, but his true motive was gold. When the wars ended, that permission disappeared, and thousands of sea raiders refused to quit. They became outlaws with no king and no law. Pirates like Blackbeard, Charles Vane, and Calico Jack Rackham terrorized merchant routes, striking ships heavy with treasure sailing out of Havana and St. Augustine. Some pirates became legends of their own making. Black Caesar, a captured sailor who escaped bondage, established a base among the Florida Keys and attacked vessels that drifted too close to the reefs. He worked alongside Blackbeard for a time before vanishing after a clash with the Royal Navy. Jean Lafitte built a smuggling empire across the Gulf of Mexico, with a network stretching from Louisiana to Amelia Island, a perfect hideout in the marshes of northeast Florida. Amelia Island became a pirate republic. Flags from every nation, and even some invented out of thin air, waved above its shores. In 1817, Gregor MacGregor, a Scottish adventurer, seized it, claiming to represent a new free nation. Months later, Luis Ori, a privateer from Mexico, took control and ruled it like his own fortress. The island thundered with rum, gunpowder, and stolen cargo until U.S. forces stormed in. Before they arrived, the pirates buried what they could not carry, and none of it was ever found. The coastlines of Georgia were just as wild. Cumberland Island, surrounded by deep inlets and thick marshes, served as a refuge for smugglers and runaway crews. Small boats slipped through the reeds at night, taking stolen goods inland where the law could not reach. Locals told stories of strange fires glowing along the beaches, marking the coves once used for trade and escape. Even today, coins and fragments of old cannons surface after strong storms, offering proof that the battles and the loot of those men were very real. Their riches were not only gold. They seized sugar, rum, tobacco, cotton, and slaves. Cargo worth millions that crossed those decks. They robbed, traded, and killed for it. Yet to struggling colonists, they sometimes appeared as heroes, rebels against greedy empires. In truth, most were both, murderers and merchants chasing survival on open water. The law hunted them without mercy. British warships, Spanish patrols, and early American gunboats scoured the coast, but the ocean protected its own. Ships vanished in sudden fog, storms rose without warning, and many believed the pirates made a pact with the sea, that the tides hid their treasure and guarded their secrets. By the mid-1800s, piracy faded, but its mark never washed away. Treasure hunters still search the sands of the Florida coast. Metal detectors hum over dunes where iron and silver rest side by side. Every storm that strikes the coast uncovers new stories. Coins, relics, and wreckage from an age when the rule of the sea belonged to no one. They were criminals and sailors driven by greed, yet their impact shaped the southern coast for generations. Every port they touched and every wreck they left behind became part of the history that still washes ashore. The age of piracy may be over, but its shadow continues to drift across the waters of Florida and Georgia today.